Hey everyone, and welcome to my walkthrough for Zodiark Extreme. Now before we get into the fight, I would highly recommend that you put some markers around the edges of the arena. These are going to be really useful for part 2 of the fight. And also, we didn't see the complete fight, or at least I don't have the full fight recorded. So this is the furthest pull that I have recorded. Now the good thing is that this fight is very intuitive. So all of the mechanics that are in the fight we are going to be seeing. It's just that it is possible that some of the combinations of these mechanics you're not going to be seeing in the video. But if you understand all of the mechanics, all you have to do is piece the pieces together and then you'll be fine as well. So that is why I just kind of wanted to mention that in case you were like, okay, there's some mechanics missing. But if you understand everything, then you should be just fine. So he's going to start off the fight with Kokitos. This is going to put everybody at 1 HP, so you don't really need to pre-shield for this. Also, if you're an Astrologian player, Microcosmos or Macrocosmos, whichever of the two, is going to work on this. So if you just use that, it should be really easy to heal back to full. Then Paradigma is going to spawn some images around the map. There are 3 possible images that he can spawn, which is going to be Quetzalcoatl, which does a donut, which is what he spawns over here. There's Behemoth, which does a point blank AoE, and a Snake, which does a line AoE through the arena. But for the first one, it's only going to be Quetzalcoatl's, so we just gotta stand underneath one of them. Because Styx is going to be putting a share AoE that is going to be hitting multiple times on someone, which is why we want to be stacked together. Then afterwards we have a Tank Buster. This one's called Anya, and this will also require a tank swap, because it will put a debuff on the main tank. So just use some cooldowns and then tank swap afterwards. Exotericals is going to be tethering a side of the arena. And there are 2 possibilities for this. Whenever he does a purple tether, it's going to be a triangle. Whenever he does a pink tether, it is going to be a square. And the triangle just does a triangle pattern through the arena. The square, just like normal mode, means go away. And then Zodiark will also do a second one, and this will originate from himself. So because we did double triangle, we have the melee uptime one. If he did square, then we had to run to the back side of the arena. Then another Paradigma. This one is going to be 2 Behemoths and 2 Quetzalcoatls. So our safe spot is going to be one of the 2 Quetzalcoatls. Because Zodiark is going to cleave through the arena. It's called Algaedon, but basically when he goes to a corner of the map, you know that he's going to cleave. And the safe spot is going to be either on the front triangle, like for example on this circle over here in the northwest would be a safe spot. And then this circle over here in the back side of the circle would be the second safe spot. So we need to go stand underneath a Quetzalcoatl because of course Behemoth is not safe, which is why we have to go stand on the back side of this circle. And I'm gonna try to pause it just right so that you can see where the cleave of Zodiark himself goes. As you can see, it goes straight through the front side of the circle, which is why it's important that you stand on the back half of it. Also, this ability from Zodiark, if you get hit by it, you get knocked off the arena. So I think this is one of the very few mechanics that he does that will actually just straight up one-shot you. Next up is Phobos. This is basically Almagest from 04 Savage, Neo XDev, if you don't know what that is. Basically does high rate wide damage and it will put a bleed on you. The more you mitigate this, the weaker the bleed is going to be. So it's important that you put some mitigation up for this. Another Paradigma. This one is going to spawn snakes together with another tether. Again, this one is going to be a triangle. So you just look at where the snakes are, and then with Astral Flow, this is the thing that turns the arena. So you have to see where the safe spot is. Now there are 2 possible safe spots. In this case, the safe spot is going to be the corner of the map, because the snake is not standing on the edge of the arena. But if the snake was standing on the edge of the arena, then of course he would cleave the corner, then closer to the A marker would be safe, because the triangle pattern doesn't reach the middle of the arena, which you'll see in just a second as well. I'll try to pause it just right again. There we go. As you can see, like even standing over here would still be safe in case the snake was on the edge of the arena instead. This does require a little bit of getting used to, I felt like, because it can hurt your brain a bit to try and figure out how everything is going to rotate. Another Tank Buster just happened, so just tank swap it out. Next Paradigma, we have some more snakes, and this time around Zodiark is also going to be doing Adikia. This is going to slam the arena in the middle, so the safe spot is going to be underneath his hitbox. Now because the snake is here, it means that we need to stand a bit closer to the middle of the arena. If the snake was not on the edge, you can just run to the edge and it's really easy. But even when you don't go to the edge, it's still really easy because all you need to do is stand in front of this little danger Dorito, as we like to call it, that you can see on the hitbox of Zodiark. So as long as you're standing in front of this marker, you're also going to be in the safe spot. Because of course, the snake is going to do this line AoE, so your actual safe spot is kind of tiny, but just use this triangle as kind of reference to dodge this ability. And then we go into the add phase. This one is going to spawn 4 orbs that you just have to kill in time. Quite simple, really. But while that is going on, he's also going to be spawning 3 different patterns in the front. These 3 patterns are always the same, they just come in a different order. So for this one, we go to the back and the middle, because of course pink, the square over here, means get away from Zodiark, and the green diamonds are going to be doing line AoEs through the arena. This mechanic will come back later into the fight as well. So the safe spot for this is the middle of the arena and the back, because of course the square makes this unsafe and then the diamonds makes the sides unsafe. Then we go into pattern number 2. This time around, sides are going to be unsafe again, and we have a triangle in the middle, so we need to go stand underneath this triangle in the middle. There we go. It is possible to keep melee uptime if you have the front ones alive, but of course, if you want to make sure that you don't get hit, can get a bit closer. And then our final pattern is going to be middle unsafe and then 2 triangles on the side, so just pick left or right side and go stand close to your triangle, or just kill the adds, because then this mechanic will not go off. So fairly simple add phase. After this is done, everybody heal up if they ended up getting hit by one of the mechanics, and then get ready for some heavy raid wide damage. After Zodiark comes back, you have a few GCDs to hit the boss, so don't pop all of your burst windows over here, because after like 4 or 5 GCDs, he's going to go away to do Astral Alignment, I think it is called. Or Astral Eclipse, that's what it is. And for that I also have some diagrams, I guess you could say. So before we go look at this, a friend of mine made this beautiful picture over here, which kind of explains the mechanic. So whenever he shows you a pattern, you basically have to think of it as folding onto the arena. So it's not going to be like showing the arena itself, it folds onto the arena. Now, courtesy of the Reaper launch on the balance, I believe this was, there are only 5 possible patterns. Now, there are multiple ways to dodge this, there's always 2 possibilities on how you can dodge these, but there's always only one melee uptime version of this. So these are all the melee uptime patterns. If you want, you can just pause the video over here and have a look-see. But I find that once you do it a couple of times, you start to recognize the patterns, and then it's really not as bad as I initially thought it would be. So, first one that he's going to be showing is going to either be 4 as the safe side or B, in our case, because this is the back of the map, so it's like down here somewhere. Then the second one is going to be either 2 or D. I was just thinking about what markers we had. And then the final one is going to be 2 or I believe it is A, which we'll look at in just a second. Yeah, we have B over here, and then we have A. Now, normally whenever we got this pattern, we always did B to B, but because I wanted to try a melee uptime way, that's why I am frantically looking around for the safe spot myself, because I hadn't done this dodge just yet. Now, after this one is done, we're also going to get a triple esoteric ray. These are the same patterns from the add phase, so this means sides are going to explode first, middle is going to explode second. Now, while this is going on, the final set of meteors still has to drop, which drops right here. So it is possible that your safe spot for the meteors is also going to be the first area that gets hit by the triple esoteric ray. So in this one I got lucky, because the safe spot was also safe from the first explosion, but it is possible that you will have to move for this one. The best thing that I found is to just look at the cast bar, because as soon as the cast bar finishes, that's when the AoE goes out. So you just have to move right before the cast bar finishes, before you even see the meteors drop, because the meteors do lock in a little bit earlier before the cast bar of the triple esoteric ray finishes, of course. Then another Paradigma. This one is going to spawn 2 behemoths, 2 Quetzalcoatl's, and then also flip the arena around. So because he's going to flip the arena, we knew that this behemoth was going to be our safe spot. Astral Flow is going to be twisting the arena, and as you could see, there is an extra mechanic added over here, which is a fire line. This one will go from one corner to the other of the map, and because he's going to be twisting it to the left, it means that we need to stand on the bottom side of this behemoth, because otherwise we're going to get hit by this one. So all we need to do here is just look at this little circle and then stand on the bottom side of this circle. This circle indicator is going to be super useful for a lot of mechanics. You can also see where the line AoE is going to end, because there is like a line pattern going through the arena over here as well. So you can use all of those things as reference to dodge the mechanics. So Astral Flow goes out. Also something I forgot to mention is while Astral Flow is going out, you can still hit the boss, you just can't use gap closers or jump abilities if you're playing Dragoon or Warrior, because Warrior has a jump now with their Primal Rend. But you can still hit the boss, and during the Astral Alignment projection thingy you can hit the boss as well once he comes back. Another Tank Buster, so just tank swap it out. Another Exotericos, this one is pink, so that means go away. And Algaedon, so for this one again he's on the side, so either our 4 marker would be safe or behind in the map, but because we have to go away from this side because there's a square, the 2 marker will be our safe spot instead. If you get really unlucky, then you're gonna have very little melee uptime in this fight, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately enough. Another Paradigma. For this one we have the Quetzalcoatlus as well as the snakes, as well as a line through the middle of the arena. So you have to see where the snakes is going to be. In this case the side of the arena is going to be safe, because we have a snake over here. That means the second snake is like in the middle-ish. So that means that this section next to A is going to be hit, which is why we want to stand as far to the right as possible on this little circle, of course dodging the line as well. And then this will resolve. So we're still dodging the Quetzalcoatl, and we're also dodging the snake that came on the left. Then we have another Styx, so just heal up, mitigate, because this is going to hit multiple times. If you're not stacked together initially, because there are multiple save spots for these mechanics, then you can always just run over later. Trimorphous Exoterics is going to do Exoterics but 3 times in a row. So the first one was a triangle, the second one is a square, and the third one is a triangle again. So first triangle goes out, the square goes out, and then the second triangle will go out as well. And then another Adikia. Now this little pattern that we have, it can be anything. It could be 3 squares, could be 3 triangles, 2 triangles a square, 2 squares a triangle. Just look where he spawns them and then dodge accordingly. Where he spawns them is also random. He could go left, right, back, he could go back, right, left. Can be any possible pattern, so just adjust on the fly. And then of course Adikia means go stand underneath the boss to make sure that you dodge this mechanic. Next up is going to be another Astral Eclipse. This time around the ending of it is going to look slightly different. So our first save spots are going to be either the D marker or the back of the map, which is the C marker. Our second save spot is middle or 3. And then our final save spot is going to be, already looked away because I probably predicted it. Let's see if I can be fast enough. Yep, there we go. Either the back of the map or 1. So once you've read all of that, you run to your first save spot and then you can start hitting the boss again. First one drops down, move to the second save spot. Second one drops down, move to the third save spot. And then look at where Zodiark is going to cleave. In this case, our corner was not safe, so we run to the other side of the arena. I think in this POV he's always done the right side. He's also possible to cleave the left side. So just look at where he goes. Another Tank Buster, so tank swap. And then we go into another Paradigma, if I am not mistaken. Yep, there we go. This one has snakes, because we can't see any behemoths or Quetzalcoatlus. So another triangle. Look at where the snakes are going to be. The snake is going to be in front of the arena, so we are going to be standing on the bottom half. And then also, of course, make sure that you're dodging the triangle as well as the fire line. There we go. And then we have Phlegaton. This is going to spawn 3 sets of AoEs underneath all players. So just keep moving to dodge this. And then another sticks, so multiple hitting stack marker. Let's make sure that everybody's stacked up for this and healed, in case they did get hit by one of the previous mechanics. If you get hit by one of the mechanics, then you're usually fine. You're not really going to be one-shot by any of these things, except Zodiark cleaving, that will one-shot you. So we have another triangle, another triple esoteric ray, so here the middle is going to be unsafe. So we just start on the side, middle goes out, and then we just move into the middle, and then of course make sure that you're away from the triangle as well. And then another Paradigma, and this is the last one that we're going to see. So we have 2 behemoths, 2 Quetzalcoatl's, so our safe spots will be the behemoth over here, because it doesn't matter how the arena is going to be twisting, this behemoth would always be the safe spot, as a Quetzalcoatl would come over here anyways. He also did a square in the back, meaning get close to the boss, and then we just use the astral flow to dodge the fire line that is going to go through the arena as well. So we just make sure that we're stood on the circle, and then we are going to be just fine over here. And then after this there are going to be some repeat mechanics, but you've pretty much seen everything right now. You know the triangle, you know the square, you know what the triple esoteric ray looks like, another Phobos, which is that Almaguest cast that does raid wide AoE and puts the bleed on you. You know what all the Paradigmas look like as well. Just make sure that if you see something, just act accordingly. But that's going to do it for this video. If you have any more questions about it, then feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely get back to you. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.